So you want to file an insurance claim. Not exactly sure where to start? Well, let me help you out with that. Hi, my name is Patrick. I'm with Blue Heron Construction, and we specialize in storm restoration projects specifically with your home insurance. Let me talk to you about what you should do before starting a claim. So here we go. First of all, you need to look at your insurance policy. You need to understand who is insuring you and what type of coverage you have. It's going to play a big part on whether or not you should call a claimant. Part of that is because there are some insurance companies that aren't very fond of paying out on claims. There's some big name companies out there. I'm not going to throw those names out. No, yes, I will, because I want you to know that if you have insurance with some of these guys, you may not be paid out on an insurance claim. Now, let's not confuse auto claims with insurance, with home insurance claims. It's completely different because, yes, some of them will pay out on your auto claims. When it comes to home insurance, from what we've seen with over 20 years of experience in this business, you're going to have a rough time with some of the top guys. Talking about Allstate, State Farm, talking about AAA, some of the bigger guys that you see lots of marketing from on TV, from football games and so forth. Hey, come with us, you're in good hands, things of that nature. Those guys are the ones that don't want to pay out on your insurance claims. And here's the reason why. They do not make money on paying out on claims. They make money from collecting on your premiums. So even if you have legitimate claim, it's legitimate, like you have a hole in your roof, you have damage on your house, broken windows, things of that nature, they will do whatever they can to say that it wasn't their fault. Oh, it was something that's been there for the last 10 years, started that and the foundation shift, and that was the reason why that window broke or something of that nature. I have been on top of roofs with Allstate where there is a hole, a literal hole. You can look inside their attic space and you can see all the the water that's been going in that area. And that hole was caused by some type of debris that was maybe by a nearby tree or something of that nature. And you know what they told me? Oh, that just happened. That's just a defect, like in the shingle. Big hole, right? So it's important to know who you're insured with. Now, when you have insurance, obviously, if you have them, I would look into maybe going to someone else. But the best companies when it comes to an insurance policy are the smaller companies, the ma and pa companies. And here's the reason why. Those guys want to take care of you. They want you to be a customer for life. They don't want you going anywhere. See, Allstate and State Farm and Farmers and all these other guys, they have people come in every single day. They have thousands, hundreds of thousands of people signing up with them for a yearly policy and so forth. They could care less if you go somewhere else because you're a small number to them. But you know what? A mom and pop company, a smaller company, an unknown company, GeoVera, Homeowners of America, some of these other ones, they are more inclined to pay out your policies. And also another thing is they don't have any company men going out to your properties to check out for themselves or their company to see if they are going to fail the property. They hire third-party adjusters, which is a good thing. We'll get to that here in a second. But let's go back to your insurance policy. So who's insuring you? What type of coverage do you have? Do you have an RCV policy or do you have an ACV policy? You have a recoverable cost value policy, or the ACV, which is the actual cost value policy. Do you have either or? It's important to have the RCV. I would always have the RCV. The ACV is pretty worthless. Honestly, it only covers the cost of what something used to cost back when it was first done. So if your house is 20 years old and the cost of the, let's say it was a roof claim and it cost back then for the roof was $10,000. Well, the roofs today are 2 to 3 times as much money that was, that time ago, 20 years ago. So you're talking about, missing out on a lot of money being paid towards a claim. And that is not good for you, especially since the policy is only saving you about $10, maybe $15 a month extra. You're literally paying for a policy that's going to pay a third of what you need and when the time comes. Because you and I both know that time will come that you'll need a roof replacement, you'll need something from a tropical storm that hits you, something of that nature. And if you have an ACV policy, you're kind of out of luck. So make sure you have an RCV policy. Make sure you have a company that is not as well known, so that way you can get an insurance claim paid for. Let's talk about what you need to look for as well in your policy. You look at what your deductible is. Now, here in Texas, most of our deductibles are a percent of the home value. So while a lot of those policies are 1%, 2% policies, there are some that are more than 2%, which in my opinion, I think should probably be looked at as maybe illegal for the insurance companies to do that, because they're literally saying that you are responsible for a claim after that. Because imagine this: you have a home insurance policy for a as a 1% deductible, right? For a $300,000 home, so your deductible would be $3,000, right? But now you have a 3% policy because you decide that you want to save a few dollars, just a few dollars every single month from this from the insurance company. Well, now you have a $9,000 deductible. So if you have a repair of $10,000 and you have $9,000 deductible, well, why call the insurance up to do anything at that point? Now you're out of pocket fully for whatever repair that's going to be, or replacement, or whatever the insurance has agreed to pay on. Some of the most ridiculous policies are honestly the 5% policies. I just you're talking about 15 plus grand, on some of these policies. So basically, the interest is paying nothing, and you're having to pay completely out of pocket, but yet you have insurance. It's kind of ridiculous, but you have to know what your deductible is. I always make sure that I have a 1% policy, personally, with all perils covered, including hail damage, wind damage to my property, pipes, things of that nature. Make sure you get a 1%. Those are becoming a little bit more harder to come around. A lot of the policies are turning into 2% policies, but you still can find that golden 1% all perils paid for. So just do your research on that. Now, there is a famous question. We're talking about the deductibles right now. The question is, am I responsible for my deductible as the homeowner? Do I have to pay something? And the simple answer is yes. Yeah, you are responsible for the deductible. There's no going around that. In fact, in recent years, Texas came out with the House Bill 2102 that states that there's no refunds, no credits, or any payment from the contractor towards the deductible. It's pretty serious. It's 180 days in jail and up to a $2,000 fine. I don't know about y'all, but I've got kids. I'm not willing to go ahead and pull the trigger on something like that, but that is the law right here now in Texas. In fact, they've enforced the law so much now that we actually have to throw it on our contracts. Let me show you. Here's a contract if we were to ever get y'all signed up for a roof with us or some type of insurance claim. We actually states right here in bold print what we will do. So it says Texas right here. Texas law requires a person insured under the property insurance policy to pay any deductible applicable to the claim. I could read that whole thing for you, but I have to put that in bold and in Times New Roman and 12-point font in order for this to be a legal binding contract for insurance claims. So if your contractor doesn't have something like this written on their insurance claim or their process of contracts, I would be a little bit wary, because it could be that you might be losing out on some money on the claim, and I'll tell you why here in a little bit. So let's talk about going through the claims process, right? So we understand what our insurance policy says. Let's just give an example. You have a 1% policy. You've got, Homeowners of America, for example, which is pretty decent for the most part when it comes to calling in claims. You understand that the deductible is something that you're responsible for. You've got the money for it, or maybe you can get the financing for it, something of that nature. That's great. So now let's talk about, the contractor, because the next thing is finding a competent contractor. Before calling a claim, you need to have an inspection to make sure that when you're calling a claim, that it's a legitimate claim. You don't want to call in a claim where, there's not enough damage on the roof, and then you're not getting it bought, and you're just wasting that guy's time, your time, whatnot. So you need to call someone to come and take a look and inspect the property. I'm going to talk specifically about roofing. I do roofing. I do, restoration for pipe damage, all sorts of stuff like that here at Blue Heron Construction. But we're going to talk about roofing because it's just an easier way to talk about one thing. So let's talk about what your contractor should be able to do, and why you need to be choosing the contractor beforehand. The old school method, and a lot of people, this is what people still do today, and I don't think they really understand how the insurance works with insurance claims today. So I'm going to go through the old school method. The old school method is that you call 3 different contractors and you get 3 different estimates from those contractors, right? That's the way that's done. And then you get to give that to the insurance, and the insurance picks the cheapest one, which is usually what happens, and then you build your roof. It's not how it's done anymore, okay? So what the new method is, and what's been for a number of years now, is that the insurance creates the estimate. Why does the insurance create the estimate? Well, first of all, they don't want to pay more than what the roof is worth. Why does the insurance want to pay out more money than what it's worth? I get that all the time where they'll get a client will get an estimate back from the insurance company, and it's a $30,000 roof, and they're like, my roof is not worth $30,000. Well, you think the insurance is overpaying on your roof? No, they're not. They're looking at real market value for labor and materials today, and you know what? They're going to make sure. One of the reasons why that they give the estimate to the client now is because they want to have control on what they are paying out on. So for them, they gave a line item system. It's a line item list of things that they're going to pay on. So if it's a roof, removing shingles, replacing shingles, felt, removing, replacing felt, pipe jacks, things of that nature. So it has a list, and it has a dollar value of what they're paying on each one of these things. Well, the insurance from time to time will, miss out on a line item. That happens. So let's say they missed out on a line item of drip edge. Well, drip edge can be, $500 for the roof, right? And there's the piece of metal edging that goes all around your roof and the top of the fascia board. And if they miss out on one item for 10,000 claims, guess how much money the insurance is saving, right? So they have control over what's being paid out on. So that's another reason why they like the fact that they are creating the estimate. And they are creating the estimate off of real marketing value today, so today's dollars, which is also a good thing for the contractor, because what it also does to make sure is that you're not getting a cheap roof. So that, my cousin Jose or someone's not coming in and saying, hey, I give you special deal, and they do a roof $5,000 cheaper than me or maybe another competent company. You and I both know that $5,000 comes from somewhere. It's not that $5,000 automatically is just saved for you. Like, no, it comes from labor, it comes from materials, it comes from insurance, it comes from all these different things. And this is what you have to look for when looking for a contract. You need to select a contract that you feel you can trust, that you can develop a relationship with, that will be honest with you, and that will take care of you. That's what you want from them. So here's a couple of highlights of what you're looking for. You're looking for, are they local? Is the contractor from my area? That's very important, especially if they're from across state lines. You don't know if they're ever coming back for a warranty claim. You don't ever know if that person's ever going to answer their phone again once they take your money. You need someone who's local, someone that you can go to their office. I always tell people I'm not chucking the truck, and it's the same thing with I'm friends with a lot of different roofing companies, a lot of different restoration companies, and the competent ones, the ones that actually are legit, and that they are great companies because of the fact that there's a location that you can go to and have a conversation with them as well, rather than them just, hey, the only way you will ever be able to catch me is in my truck, which means that they're living out of the truck, right? You don't want a company that, you can't necessarily be relied on, or you can't go to if for whatever reason you have an issue. You can't walk into their office and say, hey, I have an issue. You need to find a local company, someone that will take care of you. You need to find also, that they have proof of insurance. You want the guys themselves to have insurance. Your insurance is covering this project. You don't want to be paying on the crew's insurance claim when a guy falls off the roof and sues you because he wants you to pay for their medical bills. You don't want that. So the question you need to ask is, how much is your insurance? What do you have on your insurance? I've got over $1 million in our insurance policy. So one of our crew guys falls off. It's taken care of. And here's the thing is that it happens. I'm not saying that, I personally, I've been fortunate, knocking on wood right now, our guys haven't fallen off the roof, but I've known several companies where a guy's fallen off the roof. I've known some of the lower class roofing companies where a guy has fallen off the roof and they came right after the homeowner saying that they needed their homeowner's policy to pay for it. Don't be that person. Don't be the person that gets gypped because you want to try to go cheap. We'll talk about that here in a second. So do they have proof of insurance? Do they have good reviews? Look online. Check to see, hey, do they have a Facebook page? Do they have a Better Business Bureau account? Do they have these things? And do they have 5-star reviews? Like, legitimately, most companies will have several 5-star reviews, 4-star reviews. Hey, even an occasional 1-star. Hey, not everybody likes that company. That's just the way it is. I always say if you got only 5-star reviews, and you're probably there's probably some, little tweak going on there where maybe it's a fake account or something of that nature, because not everyone has complete 5 stars, right? Maybe you have like 4.6, 4.8. Those are pretty legitimate right there. And how many reviews do they have? How long have they been in business for? Questions you should be asking. And another one is, do they understand the insurance process? Now, this will save you from a big, big headache. So let me give you an example. So when I talk to somebody about filing a claim, I explain to them, hey, look, as a contractor, what my job to do is to take the hassle away from you. So I'm going to help you with filing the claim. I'm going to help you with that. I'm going to help you with the insurance inspection, because the insurance is going to send their adjuster out. I'm going to get on the roof with them and I'm going to show them the damages that I found beforehand. And then they're going to either agree, disagree. Most likely they're going to agree, especially since I'm certified, just like the insurance company. So another thing to look for is from a contractor with the certifications, do they have any things of that nature? And then I'm going to go ahead with the insurance company, and when they send the estimate over, I'm going to look at the estimate, make sure that they're paying for every single line item. You want the insurance to pay out on everything, right? Because you want everything taken care of. That's what you want. And then once the insurance agrees that yes, everything's being, this is the estimate, this is what we're going to do, go ahead and you sign up with me. I go ahead and get the build process started. I set a date. I order materials. I get my crew out there. We all go out there in a couple of days, and we try to get everything knocked out. We clean up afterwards. I walk around the property with you, the premises, and you see if everything's to your liking. And once everything's all said and done, we're good to go. The insurance will pay out in 2 different payments. They'll pay out in an initial payment called the ACV payment, and that's usually covers some materials and some labor right there, and then they'll pay you a back-end check once they see everything is done properly, once we send them the photos that we've taken care of what needs to be done. So that's what you're looking for right there. You're looking for a guy who understands the insurance process, and also who understands that I'm going to be filing the paperwork for you. I'm going to take care of it. You go to work, you take care of your family. You're hiring me for my professional expertise here, right? It's like, for example, I'm not going to tell a doctor, how to diagnose someone, because I'm not a doctor. So it's kind of the same thing. My professional expertise is not just in, inspections of roofs or understanding how it's put together, things of that nature. My part of my expertise is understanding how the insurance works and what they're going to pay out on, what they're not going to pay it out on, things of that nature. So you don't want to go cheap on a contractor. Here's, the other question too that I get all the time is, what's your estimate? What's the cheapest you can go? Well, if you're hiring a competent contractor and you understand how the insurance process works, your only out of pocket is your deductible. So it doesn't even matter at that point what the insurance is paying out on, right? Because what's going to be paid out on is according to their market value, right? So if their market value is a $20,000 roof, well, the contractor is going to build the roof off a $20,000 value minus the deductible. So you had a $3,000 deductible. Hey, the insurance is paying 17 grand. You're out $3,000. It's just it's the amount to play the game in a sense, right? To get it done. But I would rather be paying $3,000 than $20,000 to get this claim taken care of. And that's what's important. It's important for you to understand that you don't want to go cheap with a contractor. What you should be asking is this: the contractor, can they complete the claim with no hassle? So with a little hassle, right? Because there might be a little hassle, but you want them to complete the claim for you. So they offer good and high quality products. The insurance claim will pay for good quality products. They're not gonna, the insurance doesn't want the contractor necessarily to go cheap, because they don't want you calling them back up saying, hey, I paid these contractors and my roof's already falling apart. They don't want to hear that. So they are paying for a value when it comes to the products and the labor that's being used as well. And is that contractor going to warranty the work that they have done? So are they going to give a labor warranty? Are they going to make sure that, are they actually going to show up when the warranty is called in? Another thing to think about is this: when you have a contractor that offers there are some guys out there that do this. They offer a lifetime. It's a lifetime labor warranty. Okay, so what that is stating is that no matter what, they're coming back, right? I would be a little bit wary of that, because the fact of the matter is this: within the first 2 years or so, you're going to know whether or not the roof was put on there properly, right? So most labor warranties, I would say, would be around 2 years, which is legitimate. Now you have a manufacturer's warranty. Most warranties are lifetime warranties for single defects and so forth, and that's great. But a labor warranty, you're going to know whether you have storm damage, rain coming inside the house, water dripping in from the ceiling. Hey, the install was wrong. You're going to know that the first few storms, right? So when someone says, hey, I'm going to offer you a lifetime, installation warranty, it's just a marketing gimmick, in my, humble opinion on that, because how are they going to tell 20 years from now that it was an installation error? Like, there's no way, because there's been so many storms, especially in the Houston area, that it sounds very unrealistic. So again, you're looking for a competent contractor that you can trust. Hey, you don't have to trust just Blue Heron Construction. If y'all have a family member, a friend, or someone, another company maybe closer to your area or more on the west side of town, maybe there's someone on the east side of town that you trust. Hey, use that guy, as long as they hit these bullet points, that they're local, that they have insurance, that they have good reviews, and understand the insurance process, and that they're not going to give you the hassle that sometimes you get from people who don't understand the insurance process. Because what you don't want to do is you don't want to get chipped off. Okay, you don't want to call in a claim, and let's say you decided to use Jose's Roofing, right? I don't know, that's an actual company. I'm just saying, you're using my cousin's roofing company. Hey, it's Jose, and Jose's like, hey, I know the insurance is paying out, $20,000, but I can do it for $15,000. Okay, so again, already red flag right there. So one thing, they're willing to, not collect the deductible, right? Red flag, if someone's not willing to follow the law and make sure that they do everything they're supposed to, what makes you think that they're going to do a great job on your roof? There's no guarantee of that. They're already breaking the law. They don't care. They just want to make a quick buck, right? Number two thing, well, if they're doing it for $5,000 less, where's that $5,000 coming from? Because I'm not getting my labor materials much cheaper than anyone else who's actually doing this properly. Like, all of our costs, our fixed costs, are very, very similar. So for them to be making $5,000 less on that claim, or on that job, that means they got to be doing a few things. Their laborers, the laborers they got probably aren't competent. They probably picked them up at the Home Depot that day to go build the roof. Do you want a guy who's never been on your roof before learning how to do roofing on your roof that day because you wanted to pay you didn't want to pay your $3,000 deductible? Okay, so the most important parts of the house are the foundation and the roof, right? Why would you want that compromised? It's going to cost you more than $3,000 to fix that. It doesn't make any sense. Don't do that, right? So they're going to get cheap labor. They're not going to have insurance. Again, another thing, insurance is important. So a guy falls off the roof, you're responsible. Don't be responsible for that. Have a company, a contract with insurance. And then number three, like the materials that they're getting. How are they getting their materials for $5,000 cheaper than me? There's no way, especially with the cost of how much things have gone up in oil and gas. And y'all have seen this. Oil and gas products have gone up. It's crazy. There's no way they're getting that $5,000 less. So the only way that they can do that is they're using used materials. That means they took previous job materials and they're throwing it towards that one. or they're actually using materials. It sounds crazy, but I've seen this over and over again in this business where they're going to the dump and they are finding shingles that are not necessarily terrible, right? So the seal's broken and everything on these shingles, but the shingles are passable, right? And so what they're going to do is they're going to use shingles from the dump and they're going to throw it on top of your roof. Why are they going to do that? Because it was free for them. It didn't cost them any money to get that shingle on top of your roof. That's how they save you they save themselves $5 grand. That's how they make money on these type of projects. You don't want to go with those type of contractors. You want to support a contractor who's going to be upfront with you, who's going to understand the process, try not to give you the hassles, make sure that you get the best bang for your buck. And what's the type of value that that contractor can also offer you? That's another question you should ask yourself. When it comes to like the small little things, people are like, well, why should I choose you over, this other company? And it's another legitimate company. Well, maybe there's something I can offer that they don't offer. Well, I'll look at maybe, for example, there's a little front piece of fascia board that you have that's damaged. And I'll take care of that fascia board. I won't even charge you for it, right? I'm not going to take care of the whole, the house's fascia board. I'm just take care of that one area, right? So figure out things that you can add value to your claim, because we're still collecting deductible, but if I got to do a couple of extra things for you to, win your work over, and if it's worth my time and my cost to do that, then I will do that. Hey, Patrick, can we add a solar powered fan to this house? Well, let's see what we can do. Let me shop and I'll give that to you at cost. What can the contractor give you to up your value to make sure that what you're paying on your deductible is, you feel is worth it? That's what you need to ask yourself. What type of shingle? Maybe they can give you an upgrade on the shingle at cost, or maybe, little to no cost. That's also possible. Today's environment of inflation, I don't think that's possible where you can give just an upgrade, something like that. It's thousands of dollars now. But you got to ask yourself those questions. What can the contractor offer? And like I said, it's important through this process to understand how it works. And this is what you want to do. You need to do your homework before calling it a home insurance claim. Again, this is for people who really don't understand it or who want to understand the process and how it works. And this is how it legitimately works. Be happy to help you. Obviously, if you have any questions, you can feel free to message us here on our page, and I'll be happy to take care of you. But thank you so much for your time, and your time's valuable. I hope this was able to answer a lot of your questions. And again, any more questions, let us know. I'm Patrick, Blue Heron Construction. So happy to have this time to talk with you today. And I hope you'll have a good one, and call us up with any questions or anything like that in your next insurance claim. We'll be sure to take care of you. Have a good one. Thanks. Bye.